Hello, this is the Eye of the Swarm, and today we're gonna go back to what we were doing, that is, doing an analysis of the 16 Colossi, and as you can see, the 4th Colossus has been destroyed. Now, before we go into the next one, let's both hear what Dorman has to say, as well as see this little cutscene. I will talk afterwards. Thy next foe is...
It casts a colossal shadow across our misty land. As it soars through the sky, to reach it is no easy task.
And with that, we now will move on to the 5th Colossus, Avion. But first, let's see this creature's introduction. Behold, the 5th Colossus, Avion, or bird, by the developers. And this is the first Colossus, as you can see, that flies. A majestic creature, isn't he? Now, as this cutscene ends, let's have a look at a closer look at this creature. Damn, this is actually somewhat of a scary image. However, in my personal opinion, Avion looks more like a wyvern or a fell beast. Actually, a fell beast perfectly describes this creature, especially with its attacks. And it has a very long tail, not a fluffy tail like on most birds, but I can definitely see where the bird-like features come from, especially with its head. And I actually overall think this design works, though, personally speaking, I think it should have at least some form of feathery wings. Maybe even stone columns that are meant to look like wings. And I especially kinda wanted its beak to be longer, which, stranger enough, this concept art shows. Now, looking at this concept art, it clearly states what this creature's originally was supposed to be. A crane. That is actually pretty cool. I like it. Though I would personally redesign it to resemble a different type of bird. You will see when we get to the end of the video. Though this other piece of concept art is just as interesting. I think this more owl or crow-like appearance can work, though I think I should try something a little more interesting. That's what I'll say about my own version of this Colossus. Now let's move on to the size comparison. Since this is the first time we have a Colossus with a proper wingspan, I'll cover its width as well. It is around 38.6 meters in terms of its wings. Pretty impressive. 11 meters high, so not one of the largest. And around 48.3 meters long. Pretty nice size. Not one of the largest, but yet definitely the most impressive. I wonder if this is the same size as the Nevermores from a certain show I watch. You should know what it is. Now, let's finally get into the battle itself, and Avion is quite simple, though there might be a few details that you guys might not have noticed. And the first step is getting to it. Head to the center platform, and I will continue I'll continue with this guy after we get there. Avion, unlike the other Colossi, will not attack you. You have to attack him first. So you can look at him as much as you want before you can really start the battle. Once you made to the center platform, get your bow out and shoot him to start the fight. And now the real battle begins. However, let's just say I haven't played this game for a while, so I kinda messed up. However, this will give us a unique opportunity, as well as a line from Dorman. Used by bow and arrow to gain the Colossus' attention. Thank you, Stupid. It turns out if you stand on this platform, Avion will keep making rounds on you, like a fell beast. And trust me, I will keep making those comparisons to a fell beast. Anyway, now let's move on how you actually defeat it. And this is pretty much its only attack. Yeah. And you need to be in the center one. The other ones won't cut it. Now, let's see a successful attack. Though you can actually shoot him if you do not get the first time when he's standing on that little pillar. He'll just fly around, and once you shoot him again, he will come once again to strafe you. But you have to be on the center platform. Now let's hear some more advice from Dorman. Stand on the platform on the surface of the lake to draw its attacks. And with that simple bit of advice, we got on to Avion's wing, and now the music will really kick in. This is actually one of the more favorite fights for those who played Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, imagine it, you're hundreds of feet in the air, on top of a giant flying monster, hanging on to dear life as you stab its wings in order to kill it. Seems very appropriate. And speaking of which, yes, the weak points are specifically on the fairy parts of Avion's wings, as well as several points on the tail. You must be very careful with this. For if you are fleeing off, you have to do the whole cycle of shooting Avion and climbing back on him in order to get back on him. So, take some advice. Do not fall off. Now, let's move. Once this wing is stabbed, we'll move on to the actual meaning of Avion's name. I've actually done some research, and the word Avion either refers to planes or the word Avian, which, well, given this thing is just a giant bird, Colossus, it's pretty appropriate. I've even noticed that this Colossus might have some features of a plane, maybe even the same size as some of the area planes. Pretty cool, don't you all think? Yeah. And the bird, it's pretty obvious. I mean, Have you seen this creature? Anyway, now let's look on what his corpse is like. If I can say one thing about the body, it is this. This Colossi is somehow still floating, even though it is nothing more than stone. Okay, maybe it's attached to something underwater, but it's almost certainly not floating for some reason. And I actually find it pretty cool. They have to climb on top of him in order to revisit the fight. That's I kind of like. Though I kind of wish we could see Avion's head poking out of the water, or see his whole body if you look carefully. But I like this. It gives a very much dead bird in the water vibe. Anyway, as we go back onto his body, we should have a look at what I have made for this colossal bird. Here it is, my design for Avion, and I mainly focused on giving it some more reptilian-like features with the veins connecting to the wings, more dragon-like if you will. Also a longer beak, and I actually think its arms would be more sprayed out like some waterfowl. Don't you think so? Anyway, there's not much I really changed, maybe some small details, and if this flying shot has shown you anything, is that this will show you how long the beak is, and the tail, and if you look in the sky, there's some hints to the future. I'll drop more of these as I reveal closer and closer to the end of these series. Anyway, now, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let's see this pigeon fall!